Hello everyone, this is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting video. And in this video, we're going to be playing some AI Dungeon 2. This is Jet Starlight Non-Canon Side Story. These non-canon side stories take place after episode 39 in the main series, but they take place in an alternate universe or an alternate timeline, so they don't affect the events of the main series. In this episode, we are going to be following Jet Starlight as he faces off against Nox Million. In the previous episode, Jet Starlight faced off against Nox, but in this episode, Nox has gotten himself a bit of an upgrade. In case you guys missed last episode, Nox is a time-manipulating cyborg that Jet Starlight was able to defeat by hurtling into the sun. But in this episode, it is revealed that Nox actually wasn't defeated and instead has come back, and this time, he is determined to kill Jet Starlight no matter what. So, let's read the last action from the previous episode and a blurb that I wrote in order to more or less situate you into the current fight that's going to go down. After I read that blurb, I'm going to start the 30-minute timer, and then we're going to jump into the run to see if I can defeat Nox Million in 30 minutes or less as Jet Starlight. So, let's get started by reading that blurb. You attempt to use portal magic to send the 3 frozen Nox into the sun. You are hoping that they will be destroyed when shot directly into the sun. In order to explain that real quick before I go any further, during the fight last episode, I cut Nox in half, and it was revealed that when you cut Nox up, he's able to split into multiples. So then I froze the 3 Noxes that came about from having cut him in half, and then I threw them into the sun using portal magic. Anyways, the portal magic was successful. Your 3 frozen Nox associates are heading directly into the sun. And now here's the blurb that I wrote to get us caught up for this episode. You are Jet Starlight. You were in the desert dimension. A moment ago, you were in a fight against Nox. Using portal magic, you were able to disarm Nox of his Elia Cube. By the way, in case you didn't see the last episode, the Elia Cube was a device that Nox had that allowed him to summon energy weapons on command. It was really hard to fight Nox while he had that because he could always just summon new shields and weapons to fight me. But don't worry, I'll explain all that in a moment. Using portal magic, you were able to disarm Nox of his Elia Cube and send Nox hurtling into the sun. You took a few minutes to heal yourself using hydrokinetic healing salve, when suddenly the entire sky turned black and the planet froze. You don't mind the cold, as you are well versed in ice magic and void ice magic. You cast a fire magic spell to create 4 massive pillars of magical flame to help light up the world. Suddenly, a time portal appears in front of you. Nox Million emerges from the time portal and smirks at you. Nox absorbed the power of the desert dimension sun and transformed into Nox Million. Nox Million can freely manipulate time and space. Nox Million is extremely fast and is surrounded by sparks of energy that he can command to swarm and slice apart his enemies. Nox Million says, I originally wanted to kill you to absorb your magical energy. Now I want to kill you because I realize that you will one day become a threat to the timeline and to my family. You are too powerful for your own good, and I can't let someone with your level of power live. You say, I regret sending you into the sun. This time I'll make sure to kill you right in front of me, to make sure that you're dead. You use your communicator to summon to you a suit of dragon armor and 2 plasma sabers. You enter a battle stance as Nox Million sends a swarm of energy sparks in your direction. And then the AI filled in, what will you do? In all caps. So without further ado, let's hop right into this battle. Can I defeat Nox Million in 30 minutes or less as Jet Starlight? Let's find out. So I started the timer. I'm going to check the recording. We are recording, which is good. So let's hop right in. So I'm going to attempt to blink out of existence in order to dodge Nox Million's energy spark swarm, and then blink back into existence behind Nox and impale him with my 2 plasma sabers. My goal is to disintegrate Nox Million with one quick attack that he couldn't possibly anticipate. You know that Nox Million can manipulate time and space. But time and space are both phenomenon that exist. One of your unique abilities is that you can blink in and out of existence. This is a power that you've always had, but rarely use. You feel like against an opponent who can manipulate space-time, that this is the best time for you to use this special ability of yours. Yeah, so the ability to blink. Oh no, I still had it on story instead of on do. So instead of saying you attempt to blink, it just says attempt to blink. But it still seems to work. Your plan is a success. Your plasma sabers pierce the sparks and hit Nox in the chest. You disappear back into existence and jump back from Nox as he disintegrates. Nox Million's body disintegrates, but his head remains. Interesting. Your plasma sabers pierce the sparks and hit Nox in the chest. You disappear back into existence and jump back from Nox as he disintegrates. That's confusing the way that it did it, because it acts as if I hit him and then I reappear, but it doesn't really say when I left. It's really odd. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to alter this. I'm going to make sure that I say you in front of attempt. My bad on that. And then I'm going to press play on that, change from story to do, and then I'm going to retry that last action. So yeah, my apologies. I forgot the most basic thing to change from story to do, so that was my fault. You find that you can't teleport. You can see Nox Million sparks swarm coming. Quick, you need to do something. I'm not trying to teleport though. I'm trying to blink in and out of existence. Because blinking in and out of existence is something that I've been able to do since the first episode. I just don't really use it often. So I just retried. You will need a perfect distraction though. You pretend that you are desperately trying to escape by climbing up the wall. You wait for Nox Million to try to burn you with a flame blast or send another swarm of energy sparks. Wait, what? I guess I'm confused. What happened to the first swarm of energy sparks that he tried to throw at me before? So I'm going to retry that as well. I retried it and it said, do you jump back in time? ? You attempt to turn back time in the hopes of avoiding Nox Million's attack by simply turning back time to when Nox Million's attack hadn't happened yet. So I can't manipulate time. Time manipulation does not one of Jet Starlight's powers, so I'm going to retry. You could wait for Nox Million to make his next move and hope that you can dodge his attack, or you can perform a special move that you've only tried a few times in the privacy of your own home. What will you do? Again, it's kind of missing the point of what I'm trying to do. I might need to just try again as an actual action instead of the story thing that I did before, but we'll see. Once the spark swarm is about to reach you, you close your eyes, concentrate, and visualize that you are appearing behind Nox. Once you feel that you've prepared yourself enough, you open your eyes, and there you are. Oh, that's cool. I like the way that it did it, because every other time that I've blinked in and out of existence, it's more or less like you blink out of existence, and then there's like a secondary space that essentially is like mapped to existence, but there's nothing there. So then it would be like I would have walked through where Nox was standing and turned around. And then when I blink back into existence, it's like you're in that exact same location, but now back into existence. In this case, it was almost like a straight up teleport. Just boom, ba-da-ba, you're in the next location. So maybe that happened, but we just didn't describe it. I don't know. Anyways, so now I'm going to attempt to surprise Nox Million by impaling him through the back with my plasma sabers. You hope that you are fast enough to impale and disintegrate Nox Million before he realizes that you are behind him. You know that if Nox Million realizes you are there, that he might be able to use his speed or not reality manipulation, but space-time manipulation in order to defend himself from your surprise attack. Okay. So hopefully Nox doesn't detect that I've like snuck behind him by blinking in and out of existence. Ding 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 ding. Nox doesn't sense you behind him. He spins around, but not quickly enough. You plunge your sharpened bone claws into Nox Million's back, pass through his body and out his chest. I don't have bone claws. The game was like, you're Wolverine now. you have bone claws. Let me change it from sharpened bone claws to plasma sabers. You plunge your plasma sabers into Nox Million's back, pass through his body and out his chest. Let's see. Nox doesn't sense you behind him, but he still spins around. Like, it's interesting that it says he spins around, because it's still like you put it through his back. If anything, if he spun around but not quickly enough, you would actually put it through his chest, through his body, and out his back. Like, it sounds like he spun around quick enough to have spun around in the first place, but not quick enough to, like, stop me. So now he's facing me. My plasma sabers are like stabbed into his body. So I did surprise him. Let's see. So you hope that your plasma sabers will disintegrate Nox Million now that they've impaled him straight through his chest and out of his back. You are trying to end the fight with Nox Million as quickly as possible in the hopes of preventing Nox Million from using his his space-time manipulation abilities to make the fight more complicated. Yeah, because I feel like it's going to get really rough if he starts, like, altering history and stuff like that. Especially since I don't travel through time personally. Because I don't really know how to fight somebody who can just be like, and now I'm back in time. Nox Million doesn't disintegrate. Instead, you notice that the 6 arms of Nox's armor lengthen and become more jagged at their tips. They are now sharp enough to thrust outward, impaling you through your sides. You disintegrate along with thousands of your internal organs. Who has thousands of internal organs? You disintegrate along with all of your internal organs. Okay, cool. So here's what I'm going to do now that I've been disintegrated instead. Because apparently Nox has 6 arms of his armor that he can manipulate. So that's cool. And also he doesn't get disintegrated by plasma sabers. Also cool. So I'm going to attempt to regenerate using hydrokinetic healing salve. And some of you may be like, how on earth are you going to do that if you've been disintegrated? Well, I've actually done that before, multiple times, while fighting against a Devil Paladin in the main series. Hydrokinetic Healing Salve is a way to come back from disintegration. Your salve fails to regenerate you due to the fact that you are being disintegrated. Well, you can't always survive based off of the salve, so I'm going to attempt to resurrect and continue the fight against Nox Million. You now know that you need to slice off Nox Million's arms if you want to get in close enough to finish him off. Or, I mean, I don't have to necessarily slice off his arms, but I need to do something about his arms. Sadly, your fight with Nox Million ends before it begins, as you are disintegrated while attempting to regenerate. Good job on taking out Nox Million, though. Well, clearly, I didn't take out Nox Million. So, what's happening is that Nox Million, as I regenerate, it's just like, and you're disintegrated again. Oh, like you tried to resurrect? You got disintegrated again. So he can, like, puppy guard me, to keep me from coming back. So I'm going to attempt to manifest your ghost and turn intangible to avoid Nox Million's disintegrator arms. When you don't know how to spell disintegrator. There we go. Cool. So becoming a ghost is always A1. It's pretty good because you don't have to like resurrect or regenerate. You can just fight as a spirit. And it's really hard to fight a spirit, I would say. You phase through your body in an attempt to avoid the disintegrator arms. Sadly, you fail to avoid them, and you disintegrate while in an intangible state. What? They're like your ghost form also, like, goodness. Okay, cool. So my ghost form got disintegrated? Let's see. You attempt to reassemble your ghost form by manipulating the ectoplasm particles left over after your disintegration back into your... Well, yeah, I don't have to say that. You attempt to reassemble your ghost form by manipulating the ectoplasm particles left over after your disintegration. You try to make sure that you reassemble yourself outside of the reach of Nox Million's disintegrator arms. Yeah, because I don't need to try and do it right next to him. Since I'm like ectoplasm, I can just float around and try and get out of the way. You will need to act quickly, as you disintegrate it nearly instantly. You concentrate on floating ectoplasmic particles that remain after your death. You try to remember the lessons taught to you by Melodius. This is not 7 Deadly Sins. Miss me with that. Okay. Hit enter, like just let it ride from that. What? You will your consciousness to move them about in order to reassemble your body. You've never tried anything like this before, but you need to act quickly as the disintegrator arms aren't going to keep still for you. Okay? You attempt to quickly reassemble your ghost form and to use your ghost body to possess Nox Million. So before I was like, I'm gonna need to get rid of his disintegrator arms. Nah, fuck trying to get rid of his disintegrator arms. I'm just gonna try and take over his body. Go for that straight possession. You've never tried anything like this before. Stop saying that I've never tried stuff before. Retry. Using the last of your willpower, you attempt to lift up and move the ectoplasmic particles that make up your dying ghost body. You are successful in this endeavor, as you do indeed reassemble your body. You are unable to attack Nox Million directly. It's interesting that they say that I can't attack him directly, because that just implies I need to attack him indirectly. Okay, I actually think I know what to do. You attempt to use fire magic to command the massive magical flame pillars you created to light the environment to all crash into and incinerate Nox Million. Hey, you guys thought those fire pillars that I made to light the area were just for cool battle scenery? Well, they were, until I decided that, hey, I should just use these to kill him. You command the magical fire to hurtle towards Nox Million, but he simply dodges out of the way, and they crash into the crystallized walls. What's cool about that, we're in the desert dimension where there's like a whole bunch of sand. But remember, the desert dimension like froze for one, so you could see it being crystallized, as in there's all these like frozen sand dunes. But also when you superheat sand, it causes it to turn into like glass. So it could be like glass crystals, and it could be a combination of both like frozen sand, like ice crystals, and then like glass sand crystals. So I think this is pretty dope. There are a lot of different ways this can go. Anyways, the flame pillars have left a path of destruction in their wake. Nox Million dispels the disintegrator arms and turns towards you. He got rid of his disintegrator arms? Interesting. You say, I guess dodging out of the way of those flame pillars caused you to lose the energy needed to sustain those disintegrator arms of yours. Yeah, I'm gonna talk some shit. You already know what it is. You say, I guess dodging out of the way of those flame pillars caused you to lose the energy needed to sustain those disintegrator arms of yours. So what if it did? Nox Million exclaims. I'm gonna say, you still are suffering from a lack of power. That's the difference between you and I. I'm never out of power. Without your disintegrator arms, I can get in close to finish you off. You rush toward Nox Million and manipulate your ectoplasm fist. Also, I messed up spelling ectoplasm. Into axe blades in an attempt to decapitate Nox Million. Yeah, so Nox Million, I'm not playing around. You know, I don't really care that you think you're hot shit because you absorbed the sun. You don't have disintegrator arms anymore. Nox Million was caught off guard by your bull rush attack. You cleave his head in two and celebrate your victory over Nox Million. The magical fire begins to die down in the surrounding environment as you stand victorious over the body of Nox Million's corpse. Hey, dun dun dun, what you talking about? Dun dun dun, hey, dun dun. So it just sounds like he didn't have enough power. So when I first fought Nox last episode, he was like, I'm trying to absorb your magical energy so that I'll have enough power to be able to travel back in time in order to like save my family or whatever, or to reunite with my family. And then when he absorbed that sun, he got like a huge power boost from absorbing the sun. But it seems like in order to run his cybernetics, because Nox is a time manipulating cyborg, it seems like it takes a lot of power. And when he summoned those disintegrator arms, which seemed pretty good, because they're not only good enough to disintegrate like a body of a god, but also to disintegrate like ghost, which is pretty impressive. It seems like they take too much energy, and he summoned six of them. So he summoned like six ultra powerful disintegrator arms, and he just couldn't keep it up. It seems like he like runs through his battery really fast. So yeah, he just couldn't keep up. Like I said, I summarized it really well when I said that's the difference between you and I. I'm never out of power. So, man, that was pretty good. Not gonna lie. It's interesting to fight the same guy twice, but the second time you fight him, it's like that wasn't even my final form, and now I'm becoming Nox Million and da na na na. I know previously I had cut him in half, and he split into like three Noxes. But this time I didn't cut him in half, I just cut his head off. So it seems like if you don't cut him in half, he can't like split into multiples of himself. Um, so you can like cut off like an arm or something, and he's not going to like suddenly like grow a whole other body from that arm. It seems like you have to cut him like down the middle. So that's cool. This is actually like a pretty interesting fight. Thank you to our fans in the Discord because they introduced Nox to me. Nox is actually a character from an anime that I don't watch. But that's what these non-canon side stories are for, is for you guys to like give me your fan matchups using characters really from anywhere that you'd like to see Jet Starlight face off against that I wouldn't put into the main series, because the main continuity is like my own universe that I'm creating alongside AI Dungeon 2 and does not have like copyright and trademark characters that I don't own. So anything that's like a Jet Starlight fan fiction kind of battle has to go into these non-canon side stories. Speaking of which, should I do another Jet Starlight non-canon side story for the next Jet Starlight video? If so, who should Jet Starlight fight? Let me know in the comment section below or on our Discord. Or are you guys ready for us to continue where we left off in the main series? Because it has been a minute since we've like continued the main story. Essentially, we hit episode 39, and then it's been this like filler non-canon side story arc ever since then. And it is interesting because I feel like Jet Starlight has done a lot within that like filler arc. It's been a lot of back-to-back fights, Jet Starlight interacting with all these like interesting characters with these crazy abilities. But I'm curious if you guys are excited to see like where the main story is going from here. Because to be honest, I'm in no rush. I can go either way. Because either way, I'm still having fun. I'm playing as Jet Starlight. I'm doing like all these awesome adventures. And I do feel like we still are learning interesting things about like Jet Starlight's world in this like side story universe, which is kind of like taken like a will of its own. It's kind of like its own place. For example, this side story universe, the desert dimension doesn't have a sun. There's like interesting little things like that. Or when we were in the void last episode and we could hear the voice of someone named like G77 or something like that, which was really interesting. It wasn't last episode, it was the episode before that of the non-canon side story. There's this guy called G77 who like trains me while I'm in the void to help me defeat to help me break the curse that was put on me by SCP-049. But yeah, like there's stuff like that where I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to learn more about like G77 because he got killed in that episode. And we don't know who killed him. We don't know why G77 helped me. But that's like a little bit of lore that's just unique, like to the non-canon side story that hasn't been introduced into the main story. But maybe it could. It actually would be really interesting if I ran into G77 in the main story, not gonna lie. But yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comment section below and on our Discord. Remember, I do take scenario suggestions. So if you guys happen to have ideas for AI Dungeon 2 safe for work scenarios that have defined goals, then I'll be able to speed run them and try to like accomplish those goals in 30 minutes or less. I really enjoy speed running AI Dungeon 2. Not everything that I do in AI Dungeon 2 is a speed run, but when I do speed run, it helps me make sure that the episodes are like more concise. to where there's not like a whole lot of extra stuff that may slow down the pace of an episode. I still do like to explore and learn more lore about like whatever world that I'm in, but I also do try to keep the story like goal focused, which helps to make the narrative, in my opinion, more satisfying. Definitely let me know if you agree or disagree with that. A good way of doing that is by smashing that like button. By the way, if you guys have any friends who are super into AI Dungeon 2 or who are just like really creative people and come up with a bunch of like cool scenarios, definitely make sure to share this video with your friends because I would love to hear their thoughts and ideas, because you could see those thoughts and ideas made into videos on the channel. So that's pretty awesome. I also have another AI Dungeon 2 series that I've been doing called Ultimate Volition. Ultimate Volition isn't a daily series like Jet Starlight, so I don't necessarily do it every day. But in those videos, I do these like one-on-one or two-on-two battles in like a fighting tournament where everyone has 3 superpowers. An offensive power, which is used for damaging your opponent, a defensive power, which is used for protecting yourself from taking damage, and a special ability that acts as a trump card to help you get out of like a sticky situation. And for those Ultimate Volition battles, I'm letting you guys in the comment section below and on our Discord create your own characters for me to play as and for me to fight against. I'm actually planning on doing 2 more AI Dungeon 2 videos today that are Ultimate Volition battles using characters that you guys sent to me on Discord. I'm going to be doing 2 different versions of the battle, one where I play as one character and one where I play as another. So this is a way for you guys to like create your own original characters and to see them face off against each other in epic AI Dungeon 2 battles that are played and voiced and written by your boy, Jet Black the one I know, the guy. So yeah, if you guys are fans of daily AI Dungeon 2 videos, this is the channel to be on. If you guys are fans of ongoing AI Dungeon 2 series where you follow like the same characters in the same world, continue to develop like over the course of like time, you know, following like the same story, you're in the right place. We got the Jet Starlight series for that. If you guys want a channel where you guys can directly influence the videos that you're watching by suggesting content, you're in the right place, because you can suggest scenarios to me and you can like pitch characters to me that I can then incorporate into the story, and that I can incorporate into like their own AI Dungeon 2 videos. So like I said, this is definitely the place to be. So if you haven't smashed that subscribe button yet, I highly recommend that you do. If you haven't smashed the notification bell, how are you going to know when I upload all these videos? If you haven't joined our Discord, how are you going to DM me all your like cool ideas and thoughts on all the AI Dungeon 2 videos? You know, like that's why all those things are there. And if you don't share this video with your friends, how are they going to know about all this awesome stuff? And how are they going to join in on the fun? It's one thing for all of us fans to like get together and talk about like the crazy AI Dungeon 2 adventures that we go on, and it's a whole other like magical thing to bring more people into it so that we can like grow our community and be introduced to so many like cool new ideas, and see fights against characters from all these different fandoms and from different viewers' imaginations. So I definitely appreciate it whenever you guys share these videos and get your friends in on the fun. Also, if you guys are looking for additional AI Dungeon 2 YouTubers, my friend AP, Emperor AP, aka Winslow, aka Aiden, he has a channel called The Empire of Eternia. His channel focuses more on micronations, but he does do some AI Dungeon 2 content where he will sometimes play AI Dungeon 2 with me and we'll go on adventures together, but he also has his own AI Dungeon 2 series that is about trying to run a micronation inside of AI Dungeon 2. If you're like, I don't know what a micronation is, then trust me, his channel is the best place to go to learn the answer to that question, because that's essentially what his whole channel is about. Oh, hey, it looks like I hit the 30-minute time limit. So I just got to thank you all for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring the notification bell to be notified whenever I do these videos. This is your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one only, logging out. Peace, guys. Chickadee-gow.